Are you serious? Huh, Prince? Are you Are you serious? Atlas, are you serious? That's what I was gonna tell him. I told him. I said, you guys, I'm gonna make a video on the ego, and no one's gonna like it. But I'm telling them. Give me a second. Give me a second. Atlas is trying to tell me to tell you guys that I need to make a video on the ego because people aren't understanding, and he's gotta. And the baby knows what's up. I'm gonna tell him, all right, Atlas? Can I tell him? I know you tell it better, but no one can understand you. So I'm gonna have to tell him, okay? Is that okay with you? All right, go ahead. Tell him. Tell him. Now's your chance. You're in the spotlight. Come on, don't freeze up. Yeah, say you can't get rid of your ego ever. Tell him. See, it just transforms, huh, to a different kind of ego, a higher kind of ego, huh? Yeah, it does. You guys done downstairs? No. Huh? Ooh, nice. Alright. So, with that being said, I'll probably have to make 1,000 more of these videos before it gets clear. But we got some things to go over, and I have about an hour to do it before I have to go to the post office. So check this out. We're going to talk a little bit about the masculine. We're going to talk a little bit about the feminine. We're going to talk about the ego and the role of the ego. We're going to talk about the misconceptions of the ego. We're going to talk about... I think that's about it. Anywho. I did this because we were talking about dreaming. It's like in my last video that just cut out for God knows what reason. And someone left a comment at the end. I didn't get a chance to see who wrote it, but it said, it was criticizing the mind, saying that we need to make the mind the slave. Or we needed to make the ego the slave and not be slave to the ego, not be slave to the mind. They're saying about slave and master. You guys have the relationship between this. You have the relationship between your experiencing and the ego way too much. There is no having an experience without an ego. You can go to the 5th dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimension, 8th dimension. And as long as someone is coming to you saying, I am something, they are telling you that they are experiencing existence through a particular lens. Which has me slightly confused because for the longest time, I've been listening to people say that there's no such thing as duality, there's no such thing as polarity, there's no such thing as an ego when you ascend into the 5th dimension. And then I said, hold on, wait up, time out. We're going to have to get our definitions straight. That's what we're going to have to do. There needs to be a sort of consensus on what exactly things are in the spiritual community so that we can have useful and relevant conversations that actually teach us something. So I'm gonna break down the ego for you guys. I'm gonna break it down. Are you ready? I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. I'll show you. You see this right here? This is a camera lens. It's a 10 to 18 millimeter camera lens, wide angle. Oh. Charger? Lost my train of thought. What do you need? I have no idea. Oh my god. Sorry, you guys. Did you get both pieces? Oh, that's what I was saying. Every plane of existence has to have a vantage point, and that vantage point is your lens. You can swap out the lens for a higher quality lens, for a lower quality lens, higher frequency lens, lower frequency lens, a lens that sees further, a lens that sees close up, a wide angle lens, a waterproof lens, a shatterproof lens. And what people think is that you lose your lens altogether when you get into, say, the fifth or sixth dimension. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Because the mere fact that someone says, I am a fifth dimensional being, tells you that they have a lens. Their lens is a fifth dimensional being. When you get sucked back into oneness, when you are observing all of infinity through all of infinity simultaneously, you're not purely no labels. You're not fifth dimension, 11th dimension, 12th dimension. You're not this frequency. You're not high vibration. You're not high vibration. You're not low vibration. You're not middle vibration. You're not the light. You're not the darkness. You are indescribable. That is oneness. That is lacking a lens. But you will never experience that. You will never experience that in the fashion that you're thinking. Like, that's not something that you read a book and you figure out. Does that make sense? So and you know how everything has everything has a pole to it. Everything that exists both a balance of masculine and feminine. The masculines, which doesn't have much to do with male or female. It has I am that I am. Well said, Dragon. That's what I wanted to say. I am that I am. That's like the mantra, right? I am that I am. I am that. I am that. I am that. I am that. I am that I am. I am all of it, and I am also none of it. All of it and also none of it. So the idea isn't to demonize the ego. The idea isn't to make the ego your slave. It's just to properly understand what it is so that we can make the use out of it. And I guess what would be a sort of useful thing to understand the truth of the ego, one is to stop demonizing it. and to appreciate it. The sun, for example, the sunset. The sun is an ego because it exists as the sun. The sun is the sun because everything else is not the sun. Does that make sense? We exist upon that which resists us. If you were to say the sun had no ego, that means the sun would be undefined. And if the sun was undefined, it wouldn't be the sun, because to name it the sun, to be a sun, is to have definition. Am I making any sense? To ego gives form. Ego gives structure to form. What the ego fills, what the awareness fills, is the feminine. The feminine is the receptive quality of energy. Masculine projects out into the feminine. We see that on the physical realm with childbearing. The masculine, the semen, gets penetrates into the vagina, into the feminine, into the receptacle. The feminine takes it in, takes in the information, and creates life. That's why the feminine is more thought of to be more creative, because the feminine is what does the brewing, what does the creating. And on every level you have that. In the physical world, in the mental world, in the intellectual world, into the spirit world, everything manifests a balance of both masculine and feminine. There is no first, there is no last. It's not like the feminine came first or the masculine came last, because you cannot exist without your opposite. So there could never have been a feminine where a masculine didn't exist. There could never have been a masculine where the feminine didn't exist. They are simultaneously created within the mind of the all, within the mind of God. So every level, whether you're dreaming, whether you're awake, whether you're third, fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, you are experiencing these laws of reality, correspondence and polarity and vibration and mentality, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. These are all things that happen on every level, but they vary to degrees. So your ego is not going to be the same ego in the fifth dimension as it was in the third dimension. It'll be much more refined. It'll be of a higher caliber, higher quality, if you will, but it will still be an ego. Because again, your ego is what gives you the lens of being you. 1 2 Tree says you ought to write a book. 1 2 Tree, I have written a book, and that's why I can spitball like I can. If you guys want to buy my book, you can. It's on Amazon. It's called 7 Pillars, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. These different laws of the universe. So, wait a minute. That was Sarah Hagedorn. I might have put the wrong... Oh, balls. This was supposed to be Nora's. Whoops. See if I can keep up. If you guys are in the room and you're new, feel free to hit the subscribe button. We have a good thing going on here. We got lots of cool things that we talk about. And if also hit the like button, because no one gets updates anymore from Facebook or from YouTube. I don't know why, but so it would help me a lot if you guys hit the like button or the thumbs up, so that people could get the notification that I'm actually live. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Let me see if I can pull up comments, because I can't keep up with you guys' comments. I don't know if I'm writing a book, but I keep a journal. I got know if I keep. Belle Rodriguez, how's it going, my girl? How are you doing? You doing good? I hope you're doing good. First time watching live. Okay, thank you too, Nikki. I'm glad you guys are here checking out the squad and making yourself home. You guys take your shoes off. Feel free to take your shoes off. Stay a while. It's comfy. It's a nice thing we got going here. Hey, Bony Bones, what's cracking? Yes, I do music. Spagyric will do everything you want it to as long as you use the proper plants. I tuned in because something said Dracula. We're talking Dracula tonight. That was just a teaser, like tonight at 8. No, do your thing. Thanks for stopping by. What's cracking, Brianna? Nice to see you. Yeah. Here's another thing I wanted to say about the ego before we get carried away with anything else. As an alchemist, the one way the alchemist avoids the swing of the pendulum is by rising above the swing of the pendulum. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean by that. When it comes to the ego, we shouldn't say the ego is our friend, because friend implies enemy. That's what they mean by the law of polarity. To have one is to have them both feminine and masculine, both positive and negative, light, dark. So we don't say the ego is the friend. We say the ego just is. That's it. Just is. For the most part, it just is. It is what it is. It is just like I am that I am. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. What that does is it saves us, because when you polarize to something, say the ego is my friend, the ego is my friend, the ego is my friend, you latch on to the friend side of the scale. But what we learn from nature is that nature's always changing. It's always swinging from light to dark, sadness to happiness, courage to fear, passive to active. That's what the law of rhythm does. It makes sure that the balance of the world is kept, and that balance is kept by the swinging pendulum. So if you attach yourself to one side of the pendulum, what happens is when the pendulum goes in the other direction, you go with it. Which is why I snapped at the last person. Didn't snap at him, but why I was like, no, it's not a slave. Like it's not about that. It's not about slave or master. It's not about light or dark. It's not about it's my friend or my enemy. It is what it is. No more, no less. It is what it is. And if anything, what that does is it helps us. I mean, this is another thing where it comes to the emotions, you know. People who think that happiness is the goal of life, like I need to be happy at every moment of every day. I have to be happy. I have to be happy. That's the person where if sadness hits or catastrophe hits, then their whole world is shot to hell because they thought that life is supposed to be all happy all the time, all sunshine and rainbows. But it's not. It's not fucking sunshine and rainbow all the time. It's probably realistically a balance of the light and the dark. And what helps, what separates, I guess you could say, the alchemist from the rest is being able to experience things without getting caught in the swing of them. And again, I haven't figured out how to do that exactly. And I don't know an end-all solution to where you can be that person, because it's terribly difficult. It's terribly difficult. We're a human, existing for the most part in the third dimension. And it ain't easy out there. Shit gets real out there. I get it. But I do know that to demonize something is definitely not the way. Um, don't ignore it either. That's also a very shitty move for business. Do not ignore things for the love of God. Do not follow the paradigm that if as long as I pretend it's not there, then it's gonna go away. That's not at all. That's not how it works. Not entirely, at least. That's not entirely how it works. Spagyric is legal. Yes, Spagyric is legal in the UK. Yes, well said. You got to be above it. That's the thing. Rise above the swing of the pendulum. Where can I get your hair essential oils? Been free forming my hair, but I think I need a push in the right direction. My Etsy shop. Um, the rosemary oil is your best bet for the hair. Not your best, but it's really good. Gary Vee is always telling people happiness is the only thing. I mean, I like Gary Vee. We can talk about that. Let's talk about that. Gary Vee says that happiness is the only thing you should be focused on. Yes, to be happy should be your goal. It should be in your sights. But there's a difference between your goal being happiness and saying that if sadness should show itself, to completely ignore it. Because the dark side is I'm only going to focus on happiness, and if something bad comes up, I'm going to ignore it. So you blindingly force yourself to follow the good without acknowledging the bad. And we all know what happens when you don't acknowledge something. It festers and it gets worse and worse. The demons get bigger and bigger the more unkept you keep them. So you have to look at the darkness. Not too long, right? You look into the abyss too long and it starts to look back. But you just acknowledge it. It's like if I have a festering wound on my arm, I'm not going to pretend it's not there. I'm going to go, oh shit, this wound is festering. I'm not going to dwell on it and be like, oh my god, it hurts so bad, I'm going to die, like it's infected, and then like, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm not going to give it too much attention, but I'm going to go, oh, it's festering. I need to clean it, wrap it, bandage it. Now I can go back about my life, because otherwise it festers, you get septic poisoning, and then you die. Like, it's as simple as that. So there's a difference between having a goal and then being blind, being ignorant to everything else outside of that. Um, or you could be super gangster about it. I feel like true sages would be like, nah, the goal isn't happiness. And then you would say, well, then what is the goal? And their answer would be, and you'd say, but, but, sensei, I don't understand. What's the goal? And he would go, and then the kid would storm away, and about 85% into the movie, he would go, oh my god, I know what Sensei was talking about. There is no spoon. And then everyone would live happily ever after. Whoa, Ta, kill the motor. I'm not saying you can't use emotions. When did I ever say to be unemotional? I never said you can't be unemotional. I'm debatably one of the most emotional people that you guys will ever meet. It's easier to deal with the opposite of it. I struggle with flowing with the pendulum. How do you rise above it? Is it just accepting your current reality? Um, oh no, my cell phone's gonna die pretty soon. But I gotta go to the thing anyway, so maybe I should just hurry it up. Oh, when my cell phone dies, it dies. I gotta go to the post pretty soon anyways. Says Magic, what's cracking, Mango? No, but I smoke oregano. D Sarah's. She got fucking stage. Lisa St. John. Got the 2 black ones. I can't do that on either. Bob Saget, Terra Star. Got a Spagyric. We can do that. Oh. You always call me Dragon, so I thought you were referring to me. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I definitely never said anything about being unemotional. I'd rather laugh 80 of life than being held to. I feel in that. How do you rise above? I mean, when it comes to rising above the swing of the pendulum, again, that's going to be sort of up to your imagination. Like, if you can imagine something, most of the time you can make it a reality. So what does it mean to you to rise above the pendulum? Is that a frequency? Does that mean you meditate more? Does that mean you just don't attach to the pendulum more than you need to? Does that understand, or does that mean that you can attach to the pendulum, but at the same time you understand that the pendulum is constantly swinging and you can't actually stop the pendulum, so that even though you're attaching to happiness, you understand that there will be times that you will be unhappy, but that's okay because it is what it is. And what you're going to do is you're either going to use that time as a reflection or something. It's like a swing. You know, if you're not going to swing forward when the swing is swinging backwards, you're going to go with the swing when it goes backwards to gain more momentum for the swing forward. So maybe like, okay, it's swinging into sadness, but I'll use this as a time to reflect, to head back to the drawing board, to reevaluate my goals. Maybe this isn't even the right path that I want to go on. Maybe this isn't happiness at all, but it's me covering up a deeper issue, and I'm calling this happiness when really it's childish, and it's only, you know, it's superficial. It's not really getting to the core, and so you use the negative swing to learn about yourself, to learn about the darkness, to learn something that you didn't see before because you were so caught up on the quote-unquote happiness. And you go, oh, eureka, this swing into the dark side has taught me so much. So now that it's swinging to the positive side, my happiness is 10 times as great as it was before the swing to the negative side. And again, I'm just pulling shit from the fucking ether right now. If you can imagine it, it's up to your imagination. How do you use the swing? How do you rise above it? How do you attach to it? What happens when it goes in a direction? How can I make sense of these things? And that's up to you. Know thyself. That's why they say fucking know thyself, because if you don't know yourself, then you're not really gonna know why you do the things that you do, or, you know, if you're truly happy doing the things that you're doing. I don't know. It keeps me up at night. There you go. Or you could do that. Or you can jump on it when it swings up, and then when it reaches its apex, you can jump off the swing and fucking catch the next swing that's even higher than the last swing, so that the low swing is at the highest point of your last swing, but you jumped off that swing and you jumped off the next one. You see what I'm saying? And that all comes, and then it gets into the practical world. You can say, what does that look like? Well, that looks like decisions you make at work. That looks like thoughts that you decide to hold in your brain. That looks like books that you read, or books that you don't read, or movies that you watch, or movies that you don't watch. All these things are contributing to the sort of swing that your life is in. Napoleon Hill talks about this, but he calls it hypnotic rhythm. But notice how he still uses the word rhythm. Third Species, nice to see you too. He is joking. Hey, no shit talking in the group. Nice, CC Rose. Also, I was supposed to send your order out today, CC Rose, and I thought I had everything for it, and I don't. You got. What did you order? Well, it's here somewhere. Oh, there you are. Going to Phoenix? CC, are you in Phoenix? My phone might die, you guys. If it does, it was nice. It was nice knowing you. Just kidding. Everyone smash the like button. That would really help me out. I would love it if you guys hit the like button. It's how people find my channel. It's how I upgrade my bedroom to an actual studio with like cool things so I can do cool videos. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you for at least even considering to do it, even if you were like, nah, I'm too lazy. Thank you for even considering it, because sometimes I don't even consider shit before I say no to it. So, thank you. And thank you to everyone who already did hit the like button. I appreciate it. Ooh, what's the tag? Free candle to whoever can read this tattoo. There you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Um, um, Dominique, what are we doing? We just got done doing a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, exactly, Todd. Yeah, every time you go up, you get a new ego. But it's just a higher version of it. Because if you say you're raising to the next dimension, to the fifth, then all aspects of you have to raise with it. Mind, body, soul. So everything gets an upgrade. Come on. Oh, did I give her the wrong thing? I might have. Trying to do two things at once. This is how I send the wrong products to the wrong people. You believe in the predetermined lifetime path that is learning you to remember the eternal age. Cellcat. I don't necessarily believe in a predetermined life, but also I don't understand what the rest of your thing says. Brandy in the house. What's cracking, Brandy? Squatch in the house. What's cracking, Squatch? Rael, nice to see you. Nice to see everybody. I feel like a majority of the squad hasn't been here for the past couple lives, and it's really been breaking my heart. So I'm happy to see all you guys in here right now. Oh no, you're not gonna. Oh, sorry, I guess. Just look slightly away from the screen while I do that. Oh, Raymond, you're coming to the retreat? Hell yeah. Is your MBTI INFJ? I can't remember 123. I did that thing a while ago and I can't remember. Precedent determined by our actions and karma. That's well said. Yeah, I believe in predestiny as in karma. I'll buy that. I'm down for that. Moving to the mountains to build tiny homes. Hey, I got mountains that we could do the thing on. All right, I gotta go though, you guys. I want to come back on in a little bit and talk about that Dracula show on Netflix because I was taking notes. Let's just put it this way: I was taking notes. Hey, Bay Area, nice. I went to school up in the Bay Area. SF State, baby. What up? Satara, nice to see you. Bianca Jaguar, what the hell? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Though I think we're gonna end it. Oh yeah, if you guys are interested in the Man of Letters retreat, plant medicine ceremonies out here in California, we will be doing just that. Late April. I'm sorry I haven't solidified a day yet. I know I should on account of plane tickets, so I'll talk to the guy now, and then I'll also post his Instagram because he's currently mobbing through the jungles of South America. So it would be cool if you guys wanted to see him do that. But tell him Keith sent you. Say, hey, Keith sent me. Nice to see the adventures of Mashaman because he's doing his thing. I'll talk to him. I'll get some dates. We'll come in. We'll make the magic happen. Mama Aya, Papa Pedro, if you know what I mean by that. Possibly some oregano. Pizza topping. You never know. There might be some pizza toppings there. West Coast isn't the best choice for long-term investment. Well, I already have 10 acres of land paid for, Barbara. So the investment came in the 70s. So I would argue that in my case, the West Coast might be the best choice for long-term investment. But I'm no fortune teller. Brandy stopped halfway into episode 2 of Dracula. So did I, but it's because I fell asleep because episode 2 was like an hour and a half long. Make sure it's aligned in the cosmos. Good point. Well, check out something that's going on. Usually 9 times out of 10 people want to release shit when it comes to plant medicines and whatnot. So maybe we'll plan it for a full moon that's at the end of April, beginning of May. How's that sound? Learn to swim. They've been saying that the oceans are going to rise for the past 30. I remember going to San Francisco State and I was taking environmental science. And SF State is super anti-capitalism and super anti-business and was all about the carbon taxing and stuff like that. They lean far left, so I was hammered with that idea when I was going to school there. And when I was taking my degree, the book I was reading was from like 2006 or 7. This was in 2010. And it was like, scientists say that the ice is melting faster than they expected, and within the next 10 years it's going to raise this much, and then they showed all the crazy maps and shit.